Welcome to E-Color with Claudia. I am so happy we are making ribs. This is a foolproof way to make ribs. My mom did them this way, so you know, moms know best. The first thing we need to do is prepare your rub. Now you can buy your favorite store-bought kind, but I'm telling you what, homemade tastes better and there's a lot less preservatives. The exact measurements are in the description below. But we've got brown sugar, sweet paprika, smoked paprika, sea salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, dry mustard, and celery seed. We want to mix this up using our fingers. Be sure to break up any lumps. These are baby back ribs. Same thing as pork loin ribs, but different than spare ribs. Now, spare ribs are delicious, but have a lot more meat on them and that delicious fat. But these baby back ribs, they're super tender, they're a little bit more lean. Don't worry, they're not from babies. But anyway, in my opinion, they're the best ribs to use. So flip your ribs over onto their backs. Now usually your ribs are gonna have this really thick white piece of tissue, they call it a membrane, across the back. But I got this Essential Market, and like most of this has been cleaned off. In this case, if you see extra pieces of fat you want to trim off, go ahead and do that. We need 1 cup of cider vinegar. I've got apple cider vinegar. And now just pour it on your ribs, and we'll do both sides. And now just kind of rub your vinegar all over and around these guys to get them all nice and juicy. Now transfer your pork onto more of a dry tray that will fit both of them in here. Just sprinkle this rub on the tops and the bottoms. And now just rub both sides. You want it to be nice and tasty. Now you want to apply more rub to this meaty side. So now cover your ribs real well with cling wrap. And now you're going to want to put this in the refrigerator overnight. Or if you don't remember the night before, that's fine. You can put it on in the morning, like refrigerate it for about at least 8 hours. While it's resting, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hello, and we are back. I've got the ribs out of the refrigerator. Look at these ribs. Besides just a little moisture from the refrigerator, you can see this is basically a nice dry rib, which is so good because it's going to give us that texture and that caramelization that we want for the rib. Now, if your ribs are not already in a baking sheet or pan, go ahead and put them in one, and you want to have the meaty side up. The oven is preheated to 300 degrees, and now we want to cover this real well with aluminum foil. But first, we're going to cover it with parchment paper because we don't really want direct contact with the aluminum foil onto the rub because it could cause like a discoloration of the rub. So now put that aluminum foil on top and seal it really tightly. The purpose of this is that the ribs are going to be cooking in here, having like a continuous steam in their own juices, which is going to give it lots of flavor and be really nice and tender. I'm going to put this in the oven now for about 3.5 hours until like the meat has shrunk from the bone. Let's take a look at the ribs. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. That looks fabulous. Look how the meat kind of cooked and it worked itself way in about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch from the bone. At this point, it's less about actually cooking them. It's more about putting it out on the grill and getting that char, getting the texture from the grill going, because as you can see, the meat's pretty much already all the way cooked through. I'm gonna go outside and get my grill going. I have a gas grill. I'm gonna put oil on the grates and crank the temperature up to high. Okay, so first thing we do is you want to slather your barbecue sauce all on the top, on the meaty part of your ribs. The grill is really hot. Now, make sure you turn your temperature all the way down to medium. Now, like everybody's grill is different. Don't forget there's some sugar in the barbecue. So we want our meat to caramelize. We don't want it burnt, okay? So fingers crossed. Now lay your ribs on the meaty side down. Ah, look at this, already falling apart. Okay, now we're gonna let this grill for 4 minutes. Righty, it's almost 4 minutes, and so let's get the barbecue sauce now on the back end of the ribs. And y'all wish me luck when I go to flip these, because the meat is just falling right off the bones. Oh, shoot. Y'all, look at the mess I have. Okay, so they just literally fell apart when I went to try to flip them. But you know what? They're still gonna be delicious. They're just not gonna be pretty, but you can only imagine how this is gonna melt in our mouths. Oh. Okay, now we're gonna let this sit here just for 2 minutes. Okay, now we're just gonna flip this one more time. Close the lid, turn off your temp, and let it just sit here for about another 3 minutes. When I'm still laughing, because when I said it's so tender, it's like falling off the bone. Okay, look at this. It literally fell off the bone. I don't even need to cut this into individual pieces. I tell you, between the blend of all the flavors and the way it cooked in its own juices and that rub and the sauce, yo, this is just amazing. And I really hope you make it. Oh, let me just taste this a little bit. Oh my goodness. This is heavenly. Oh, y'all, enjoy. Until next time, bon appetit.